volunteer students will also be acknowledged. We have the best stall awards and all the vendors will also be given their shields. Your presence will be highly appreciated, so please try to be there. Thank you. Assalamualaikum ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the break. My name is Alina Khan and I will be taking over for the next two sessions. And before we really start the session, I would like to brief you a little about the theme of this session, which is the city authority and the developer's role in cityscape. In the book of Cityscape and Capital, Michael A. Pagano says, cities, like any other social organization, are constantly becoming, or more precisely, emerging. The old city dies, in a figurative sense, and a new one takes its place. The critical elements in transforming an old and urban landscape into a cityscape of tomorrow are the visions of the city's leaders, the developers, their commitment to pursuing that vision, and their capacity to mobilize public capital for its attainment. That is how a developer and an authority molds old densities into new cityscapes. Now to present the first case study for this session, I would like to invite Mr. Shafiq Akbar, who is the founder and CEO of Rana Group of Companies and Rana.com. He is a globally recognized real estate investment advisor with more than 20 years of experience in the United Kingdom and Pakistan. He is an award-winning realtor and has worked with a number of overseas business establishments. By establishing Rana Group of Companies, he aimed to implement his holistic model for transforming and completely revolutionizing the real estate sector. Can we please have you on the stage, sir? Now to present our first paper for the first case study for this session, I'd like to invite Mr. Shafiq Akbar, who is the founder and CEO of Rana Group of Companies and Rana.com. He's a globally recognized real estate investment advisor with more than 20 years of experience in the United Kingdom and Pakistan. He's an award-winning realtor and has worked with a number of overseas business establishments. By establishing Rana Group of Companies, he aimed to implement his holistic model for transforming and completely revolutionizing the real estate sector. Can we please have you on stage, sir?
Hello everyone, thank you very much. I first of all have to thank Chairman IAP, Professor Rasem, IAP President Arif Chingizi, Chairman PCAT-B Kadeem Siddiqui sir, and thank you very much. I just met Mr. Rasem, Badran. Thank you very much for here. Thank you very much everyone for taking time out today. It's an honor to be here today. थोड़ी देर पहले हमने एक एनिमेशन रन की है, तो मुझसे सॉरी सर, मुझे आपसे बता तभी भी नाम क्या? सलमान मंसूर साहब पूछते हैं, ये ब्लू एरिया है, तो आई थिंक वी शुड हैव एक्सप्लेन कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट इज. कैन वी इफ दैट इज ओके. आप में से कौन से लोग हैं जो एक्सप्रेस वे जो हमारा फैसल एवेन्यू है, फैसल मस्जिद से लेके टी चौक जो तक जाता है, उस पर ट्रैवल किया हुआ आप लोगों ने? काफी सारे लोग. ओके. आपने आजकल काफी सारी अजियत भी काट रहे होंगे. So this is existing expressway And just to tell you about expressway, baat mein main uski, this is a road which is 200 feet wider than Sheikh Zayed Road. Sheikh Zayed Road जो है वो 1000 फुट वाइड है. हमारी जो एक्सप्रेसवे है, ये फैसल एवेन्यू है, ये 1200 फुट वाइड है. This is the widest, one of the widest road in whole of Pakistan. So the current situation today and what this could be, और 1960 में डॉक्टर दास ने क्या सोचा होगा कि ये क्या बनेगी, तो वो थोड़ा सा आपको हम दिखाते हैं. This is expressway. So this is what expressway is today. और आप जो रोड देखते हैं इसकी एक्सपेंशन ऑफ द साइड्स, what green belt. Before I start the presentation, I would like us all to say prayers for the victims of yesterday's terrorist attacks in Christchurch, New Zealand. May Almighty bless their souls, the departed souls, and give sabr to their families. I have lived myself in West, and I've seen Islamophobia spreading all around the world. And I think आज जो 8 to 9 million Pakistanis who are outside Pakistan, a lot of them live in West, they want to come back to Pakistan. But for that we have to make Pakistan a better country for us and for them to come back. And this is what we are going to do. Today's presentation is about whole of Pakistan, a case study, Islamabad, how can we make it a better country, and then our focus is real estate. I've been introduced, my name is Shafiq Akbar, and I think we can move on. I'm CEO of Grana.com. This is one of the component of our holistic model, which we have been working on for the transformation of real estate. Grana.com has been launched, I think it's been about 5 months now. We do have a real estate development group as well by the name of Imarat, and we have started 6 projects here in Pakistan. Before this, we have been doing this in the UK. Now, I consider real estate or real estate development the backbone of the economy of Pakistan, and something which can make all the sectors better. I can see some architects sitting here. What do we think of real estate development? Is it cool?
No.
No?
A big no.
I can see people nodding their heads. Okay, real estate development is not cool. Is that what you're saying then? Okay. I'm a real estate developer as well, by the way, so I'm not cool then. Okay, how about architecture? Architecture is cool? Yes, yes, alright, okay. Good architecture, okay, fine. But the thing is, if there is no real estate, there is no architecture. If there is no real estate development, there is no architecture.
There is no life.
I think a real estate developer is an artist at a bigger scale. That's what we do, isn't it? Real estate development. All right, okay. Thank you very much. More real estate development means more architecture. That makes real estate development very, very cool, by the way. Good. Real estate development. Okay, let me talk about it and then we'll try to get to some consensus. If I explain real estate or real estate development, real estate has got 90% of the world's wealth is real estate. 900 billion US dollar, that's the worth of real estate in Pakistan. We have 9 million, 50 लाख घरों की हम बात सुनते हैं, 9 million इस वक्त शॉर्टेज है. आपको रियल एस्टेट को अंडरस्टैंड करना है, टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम सेइंग बाय द वे. और द एडिशनल 400,000 हाउसेस यूनिट्स हर साल इसमें ऐड हो रहे हैं. 90 लाख घर चाहिए इस वक्त. Second biggest employer, real estate is the second biggest employer only after agriculture here in Pakistan, and that is only real estate development. अगर मैं इसमें ancillary industry डालूं, one of them being the architectural services, 200 to 250 ancillary industries move with the real estate development. Then there is no one which can come close to real estate development. And what are the challenges here in real estate in Pakistan? Challenges की बात करूं मैं अगर पाकिस्तान में real estate में, if I compare it from, like, you know, as I said, I worked most of my life in UK. If I compare Pakistan's real estate from the rest of the country or the developed countries in the world, every third to fourth individual who's had any transaction in real estate has had some issues. रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट कितनी सिक्योर है, रियल एस्टेट की बाइंग एंड सेलिंग कितनी सिक्योर है. आई शेयर सम फिगर्स विद यू एंड दे आर प्रोबब्ली सरप्राइज यू. बट जस्ट इफ आई स्पीक इन स्टैट्स लैंग्वेज, दिस वन फिगर कि आज आपकी कोर्स में जितना भी बर्डन है, 45% ऑफ द कोर्ट केसेस आर टू डू विद द रियल एस्टेट और द रेवेन्यू रिलेटेड. 34% directly, and half of the marital cases or the family cases, which makes it another 11%. So 45% of the cases, which is the last forum जहाँ पे कोई जाके आपका मसला हल होता है, 45% of the cases today are real estate related. This is Pakistan we are talking about. And what we are working for is transformation of the whole real estate sector. How are we going to do it? This is what we call Vision 2030. And the Vision 2030 goals, the first goal is, जो buying and selling है, how can we make it safe and secure? That is the starting point. Real estate investment, how can we make it secure and profitable here in Pakistan? And the third goal is the real estate development, जिसमें प्लानिंग एंड ट्रांसपेरेंसी. जो लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हुए आर्किटेक्चर से या प्लानिंग से उनका ताल्लुक है, आपकी थोड़ी सी मैं नॉलेज में इजाफा करता हूँ कि आज आपका जो कैपिटल है, जो 1955 या 1960 में पाकिस्तान वाज अहेड ऑफ यूएस, जहां पे अर्बन डेवलपमेंट की प्लानिंग का डिपार्टमेंट नहीं था, हमारे यहां था पाकिस्तान में. आज आपके 80% ऑफ योर कैपिटल हैज गॉट कानून, द लॉ ऑफ जंगल. देयर आर नो बायलॉज. ओनली द सेक्टोरल जोन हैज गॉट सम बायलॉज. And the benefit we talk about once if we succeed, and we can only succeed if, you know, we all work together. It has to be a collective effort. The benefits which we are talking about is, first of all, आज 20 बिलियन की आपकी ओवरसीज की इन्वेस्टमेंट आती है, जिनमें से ऑलमोस्ट 50% जो है यानी $10 बिलियन से ज़्यादा legit remittances go into real estate sector in Pakistan every year. Foreign direct investment can improve significantly. Industrial growth, this is what we are advocating कि 200 से 250 इंडस्ट्री चलती है रियल एस्टेट डेवलपमेंट के साथ. आज आपका फर्नीचर भी आपके जो मेन स्टोर्स हैं इस्लामाबाद के अंदर, आर्टिक होम, एनजे होम्स, व्हाटएवर, वो सारा इंपोर्टेड है. हम यहाँ पे फर्नीचर भी आज नहीं बना रहे. ये इंडस्ट्री की ग्रोथ यहाँ पे रियल एस्टेट डेवलपमेंट के साथ टारगेटेड की जा सकती है. जॉब क्रिएशन, इस वक्त 15 करोड़ पाकिस्तानी हैं, सॉरी 7 करोड़ पाकिस्तानी हैं in the age bracket of 15 years to 35. So there are 7 crore Pakistanis 15 साल से 35 साल. उनकी जॉब्स की क्रिएशन किस तरीके से की जा सकती है इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ की? 1 करोड़ जॉब का हम लोग नारा तो लगाते हैं, पूरा कैसे करेंगे? इंपोर्ट और एक्सपोर्ट का, दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. पाकिस्तान हैज the balance of payments. We are importing more, exporting less. And that's the problem Pakistan has. We need to export more, and if we have the production or industrial units here in Pakistan, we can start exporting more and importing less. But 90% जो आपका रियल एस्टेट डेवलपमेंट का होता है, जब आप एक मॉल बनाते हैं या कोई भी स्ट्रक्चर बनाते हैं, 90% of that materials is imported. How can we increase the production here? So this is what we are advocating and proposing. How do we plan to achieve our targets? This is the model we are introducing, and this is the model which we have worked out in Pakistan. This is something which we've already done, by the way. First of all, we set up a ground force by a brand by the name of Agency 21. It has got about 100 plus individuals working for it, with 6 offices here in Islamabad. We've also launched Grana.com. Grana.com के अंदर इस वक्त we've got about 150 plus graduates. This is in Islamabad, going to Lahore and then Karachi. We've got Top Show. This is what we are doing, is digitizing whole of Pakistan. It is a very ambitious project. We inshallah aim to finish it by the end of 2019. There are about 150 town planners, engineers, graduates working for this project throughout Pakistan. And then we are setting up a legal department for the legal verification of buying and selling all the transactions. We started off here in Pakistan. We started this project in 2015. We then came to Pakistan in 2016. And in the last 3 years, we set up the entities that we just talked about. The digitization of Pakistan is the starting point if we have to do anything with the real estate transformation. The project, as I said, is a very ambitious project, but we have achieved some milestones and aim to finish it by the end of 2019. Now, if I talk about Islamabad, the capital you're saying, this is map of Islamabad. This is what it was planned, brother. This is a little lesser than what was planned by the Doxidas. We have 5 zones. The zone 1 is the sectoral zone, which has got bylaws. The rest of the zones, we don't really have any bylaws or any planning for the urban sprawl. Just some figures. Now, there are 190 housing societies in Islamabad. Out of 190 housing societies, there are about 55 host societies. You just have names, they don't exist. The rest of them, you only have, out of 190, you only have 52 approved or partially approved societies. And then unapproved schemes, housing schemes, which there are 81. The population of 1.8 million 1.87 million is expected in next 5 to 10 years. तो आज जो आप लोग एक्सप्रेस वे की शिकायत कर रहे हैं, अगले 5 से 10 साल में क्या होने वाला है, आप वो भी जरा सोचें. this is what I was talking about. This is in Harvard Research का paper है. Maybe some of you know the guy who wrote this paper as well. Pakistan was one of the pioneering countries which instituted deliberate urban policies. Its first 5 years plan 1955 had housing and settlement as a distinct sector before even the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development was created. This was in 1955 to 1960. अगर आप 1955 to 1960 का आर्किटेक्चर देखें तो we had the finest architects or town planners from around the world. अगर आप देखें कि उस वक्त जब फैसल मस्जिद बनी थी, जब आपकी सुप्रीम कोर्ट बनी थी, जब आपका प्रेसिडेंट हाउस, बाकी जो बिल्डिंग्स बनी है इस्लामाबाद की, या जो इस्लामाबाद की प्लानिंग उस वक्त हुई है, आया कि आज हम वैसी ही प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं? What we are requesting you, the stakeholders who are the planners or the architects or the big names of this country, please join hands together to do what we were supposed to do, which we were already doing in 1950 and 1960. We don't have bylaws for Islamabad. Let me just share some stats with you. GT Road and Expressway, these two roads, कोई bylaws नहीं है आज. और जिस तरह की कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रही है वो आपने देखी है. GT Road के ऊपर there are 104 buildings which have been constructed or under construction, and there are 112 on Islamabad Expressway built without bylaws. What sort of construction would that be? Did this was thought at that time? जब ये प्लान हुआ था, थोड़ा सा ये आपको हम स्टैट देते हैं. दिस इज द डिजिटाइजेशन प्रोजेक्ट जो हम कर रहे हैं इस्लामाबाद का. इस्लामाबाद के अंदर जो द कमर्शियल लैंड इन इस्लामाबाद इज मोर देन 5000 कनाल्स जो कि प्लान प्लॉट्स हैं विच कैन बी बिल्ड. If we understand FAR, if we build them on FAR 1 into 5, and if the average rate is somewhere around 25,000 rupees, this is 29 billion US dollars which can be created only from Islamabad, from the commercial developers. Expressway बनाने के लिए जो अभी हमने आपको वीडियो दिखाई थी, टेंडर कितने का हुआ है किसी को पता है? 10.1 बिलियन रुपीस. जी बिल्कुल जो रहती है. 10 अरब का टेंडर है. 10 अरब का टेंडर है जो एक्सप्रेसवे बननी है, और जो नहीं बन रही इसलिए कि पैसे नहीं. आज अगर आप बायलॉज दे दें, इट इज अ हाफ एन आवर जॉब. Bylaws have already been made. It is within half an hour they can just sign them off. The funds they can generate only from these roads, 57 अरब रुपया. From Islamabad 133, 1 खरब 35 अरब रुपया. 1/10 of that can build the जो expressway. पूरे पाकिस्तान की जो मैं वेल्थ की बात कर रहा था, 900 बिलियन US डॉलर. आज हम 3 बिलियन US डॉलर के लिए सऊदीया के पास जाते हैं, 2 बिलियन US डॉलर के लिए, 3 बिलियन US डॉलर के लिए UAE में जाते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट नहीं. आज अगर आप रियल एस्टेट डेवलपमेंट को स्टार्ट मेक दैट अ ड्राइवर फॉर द इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ, जो सारी की सारी 200 से 250 इंडस्ट्री लग सकती है. टाइल्स यहां मैन्युफैक्चर हो सकती हैं, HVAC यहां पे इंसम्बलिंग एंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट लग सकते हैं, सीमेंट ऑलरेडी हमारे पास है, फर्नीचर बन सकता है, होम डेकोर हो सकता है, आर्किटेक्चर सर्विसेज को हम कितना आगे लेके जा सकते हैं, टाउन प्लानिंग कितनी आगे जा सकती है. आज इफ वी यूज रियल एस्टेट एज अ ड्राइवर फॉर द इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ हियर इन पाकिस्तान, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कम अज कम भी 100 से 150 बिलियन US डॉलर स्ट्रेट अवे पाकिस्तान में प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट हो सकते हैं. ऑल वी हैव टू डू इज वी हैव टू प्लान. आज पूरे इस्लामाबाद में जितनी बिल्डिंग्स हैं वो दुबई की एक स्ट्रीट में आ जाएंगी पूरी. वी डोंट हैव एनी हाई राइज बिल्डिंग्स हियर इन पाकिस्तान. वी हैव टू प्लान द वे दुबई प्लान और द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड प्लान. All we have to do is we have to plan what can be built in whole of Pakistan. कहाँ पे थीम पार्क्स बन सकते हैं, कहाँ पे होटल्स बन सकते हैं, कहाँ पे आज आप दिल्ली में जाएं 150 प्लस चेन्स हैं. इस्लामाबाद के अंदर हमारे पास 2-3 होटल की चेन्स. दुबई में जाएं, सिंगापुर में जाएं. हमारी 5th मोस्ट पॉपुलस कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड, दूसरी पॉपुलेटेड कंट्रीज को आप देखें, चाइना कहां चला गया, इंडिया कहां चला गया, ब्राजील कहां जा रहे हैं, हम पाकिस्तानी कहां खड़े हैं. दिस इज आवर जॉब. ये हमारा मकसद है कि हम गवर्नमेंट को भी, बाकी स्टेक होल्डर्स को भी ऑन बोर्ड लें और उनको, दिस इज व्हाट वी आर एडवोकेटिंग एंड प्रपोजिंग, कि क्या हो सकता है रियल एस्टेट को यूज करके. हंड्रेड्स ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स बन सकते हैं, स्ट्रेट अवे स्टार्ट हो सकते हैं पाकिस्तान के अंदर, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में कुछ भी नहीं. कितने थीम पार्क्स हैं यहाँ पे, कितने वाटर पार्क्स हैं यहाँ पे, कितने स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्सेस हैं यहाँ पे, कितनी होटल चेन्स हैं. कुछ भी नहीं है, सब कुछ हो सकता है. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर प्रपोजिंग एंड दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच वी हैव ऑलरेडी वर्कड ऑन एज वेल. इट्स नॉट समथिंग दैट कि हवा में, वी आर नॉट बिल्डिंग castles in air. This is something which we've already worked on. Just to give you a comparison, by the way, कि चाइना ने तरक्की जो की है, the Chinese development has been the driving factor for them was the real estate development as well, and this is not the ancillary industry. आज जो इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ हुई है चाइना के अंदर, हर तरह की इंडस्ट्री वहां पे लगी है, it is because there was real estate. Each and every industry except 2 या 3 खाना पीना या फैशन runs with real estate. Each and every industry in Pakistan, all around the world, 90% जब आपका wealth या asset ही अगर real estate है, each and everything inside your home or office, each and everything is real estate. China 12% GDP जो है, 12% is the contribution in the GDP, in the Chinese GDP, which is in trillions. Whereas in Pakistan, ठीक है, बेनामी भी इसमें पैसे काफी सारे होंगे, the contribution of real estate development in GDP is only 2%. And that is why we यहाँ पे सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. हमारे पास इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ के लिए हर चीज है. मैंने हायर वालों से, उनके सीईओ से बात की, डाइकिन के सीईओ से बात की, कुछ और लोगों से बात की. उन्होंने कहा आप असेंबलिंग यूनिट की बात करते हैं, हम यहाँ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट लगाने को तैयार हैं. आप बताएं, हम उनको दें 2030 तक यहाँ पे 500 प्रोजेक्ट्स बन सकते हैं. ये हमारा BOQ है. ये चीजें हमें चाहिए. इतने प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, सिर्फ नारा लगाना, होप देनी है इन लोगों को. ये सब कुछ हो सकता है. दिस इज व्हाट वी से. रियल एस्टेट, मैंने कुछ लोगों को सुना, उसमें शायद असद उमर साहब भी, उन्होंने भी एक दफा कहा कि शायद रियल एस्टेट के अंदर पैसे डेड इंडस्ट्री पार्क हो जाए. वी से नो. रियल एस्टेट इज द ड्राइवर फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रीज इन पाकिस्तान. प्लीज कंसिडर इट दैट वे. आप रियल एस्टेट के अंदर, डेवलपमेंट के अंदर पैसे लेके आए, लेकिन उस रियल एस्टेट में आखिर में जो पर्दा लगना है, उस पर्दे की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए भी यहाँ पे निजाम किया जा सकता है. हमारे पास कॉटन बहुत. The Vision 2030 simply proposes कि हम यहाँ पे what we are proposing, and inshallah soon we will be giving you the data, कि पूरे पाकिस्तान के अंदर कहाँ पे क्या क्या प्रोजेक्ट हो सकते हैं. उन प्रोजेक्ट की बेसिस पे उनके अंदर क्या क्या हो सकता है, क्या क्या लगना है, कितने प्रोडक्शन यूनिट्स पाकिस्तान में लग सकते हैं. हमारी जो 7 करोड़ की आबादी है जिसको जॉब्स चाहिए, उनको किस तरीके से स्किल्ड लेबर बनाया जा सकता है थ्रू वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग्स, और किस तरीके से हम इस GDP को जो 2% या 3% है, इसको 10% पे लेके जा सकते हैं. That brings me to the end of what we started off. I hope कि थोड़ा बहुत मैंने आपको कन्विंस किया है कि शुरू में real estate development is very cool. We all have to work together for this sector and to make or build this country better. Thank you very much.
Thank you for such an informative presentation, sir. Now we're going to start with the panel discussion, which will be between architect and urbanist architect Jahangir Sherpa, senior architect CDA representative Ibtisam Pirzada, our RTA representative architect Shuja, and the real estate developer Mr. Shafiq Akbar. And the moderator for this panel discussion will be Architect Bakar Aziz, may I please have all the respected members on the stage? Sir, can we have you all on stage? Architect Jagdish Pao, CDA representative Ibtisam Pirzada, RDA representative Architect Shuja, and real estate developer Mr. Shafiq Akbar. And the moderator for this panel discussion will be Architect Bakar Aziz. May I please have all the respected members on the stage, please?
Okay, so let's start. I think we had some really wonderful presentations so far, and I think we are honored to have all of these people up to have a panel discussion about one of the most pressing problems or issues of our cities at the moment, which is the development of housing and real estate and planning for the future that we see ahead. So just to start rolling the ball, maybe I can ask Jahangir Saab to tell us a little bit about where is he looking at architects and planners to help? What are the key themes that have come out of the different discussions today, and how can that help plan us for the future of Islamabad or the other cities of Pakistan?
I think after your, but I mean, can I just take this after what you said in terms of what is going on in the country and the vision, and then you threw some very big numbers at us that people complained about. Architects are not like bankers; they have trouble with big numbers. The zeros you can get. But anyway, I think there are two things that are the prevalent discussions that are going on in the country. One is the 5 million houses that the Prime Minister hopes to add to the system, and I think that works with housing units. That works with whatever you were talking about. And the second one is, how are you going to do it? There's a number of articles we read in the paper, people saying it's not physically possible, people say, and I think between this discussion, let's just kind of start it from there, if you agree. Let's look at that. We are looking at a situation where Pakistan politically and geopolitically is right smack in the middle of the connection of One Belt, One Road, which is China's big initiative, but the most critical connection, which is the China-Pakistan economic corridor that connects Kashgar to Gwadar. And most critical, I say, is while China says this is about energy, the most energy hungry country in the world, yet at the same time, this is about world politics also. Their path to becoming a world power really depends on this connection to the proverbial warm waters that was that earlier Russia was USSR was aspiring to. I feel that as this very grand project kind of passes through Pakistan, Pakistan has to find its role in it. I read a lot of articles that say, well, hamara isme kya hoga, and I say, well, you have to find your role in it. And I think the way to do that is to finally look at the kind of development that has happened through Pakistan. You will give me 2 minutes to do this because it's a connected thought. The development that has happened through Pakistan from 1947 to date has all been east of Indus. If you look at it, all the development that has happened and the development that has happened recently since the Chinese president came and gave this big gift that he left over here, all the big money, it's still east of Indus. And I'm totally bewildered. All of our future, all of our goodies are lying west of Indus. You name it, it's gold, it's copper, it's all the other minerals, it's oil, it's gas, you name it, everything is lying west of Indus. So why are we not developing it? Why are we not choosing a path which is the shortest path between two places? Maybe difficult for us to develop, but not so difficult for somebody else to develop. Why are we not thinking about new cities? And I think that is the only way to to move forward. We need to develop new cities. We need to develop maybe 15 to 20 new cities or twin cities, and alongside this axis, alongside the Western Corridor, and exploit the area that is the future of Pakistan, that all the goodies that everybody internationally is playing for is located. And I think part of what you said in terms of vision, I think that is what we need to look at, and that is the direction in which we need to go. I'll leave this open and we can come back and discuss it.
Sure. Actually, very interesting topics that you're touching upon right now, because absolutely, most of the time that we are thinking about as architects and planners, we're thinking about taking a city which is already existing and existing in a more kind of a secure geopolitical situation and making it bigger. But as we have seen from the picture of Pakistan and urbanization as well, there's a lot of empty tract of land that we need to develop, especially being rich in resources in that area. But earlier we were talking about not to make cities, perhaps if you allow me, if I can change it. And by the way, right now, if there are any kind of comments or questions from the audience, you're more than welcome to kind of participate and talk. If we change making cities into growing cities, Ibtisam works in Capital Development Authority and is also an architect. What do you think about growing cities, especially in the perspective of your practice and your stay and you live in Islamabad? And how do you see the growth of Islamabad happening in the future?
Two things. One, the first thing is that growth to cities will come naturally and eventually exponentially as we scale value, they grow fast. But I would second the idea that Jahangir Saab was saying that we need to make new cities, but there is one first handicap to that, and that is our national planning structure. The planning is not nested. You do not plan at national scale, then on the regional scale, and then at the city scale. And the further devolution is further constrained this situation. Like for Sindh, we have Sindh Central Building Control Authority. For Islamabad, we have Development Authority, but even near Islamabad, next to Islamabad, Rawalpindi has its own independent development center. Two cities next to each other, which actually behave like one, are not linked administratively as one. One reports to Lahore, other reports to Secretariat. So, if you want to grow in a comprehensive manner all over Pakistan, you need to have a comprehensive nested planning structure. So that's about politics and the statecraft. It has nothing to do with the architects. They are like, no one to have a say in it.
Please.
I think I was very definitely on that one. I feel that when Islamabad was developed, so you will attest to this, when Islamabad was developed, it was one unit, and obviously they didn't have to go to the government of Punjab or elsewhere, or the frontier. Today, to make that decision, I think probably you'd have to go to the government of Punjab and the government of and the capital as it is. But I think essentially, for us to find a vision for Islamabad, there needs to be a planning, within the planning context, and I think the planners in the audience will agree with that, that we need to have a body that joins the two master plans, that has jurisdiction over the two master plans to be able to find a vision. You cannot have two visionary plans next to each other without interacting with each other, without having some kind of a connection. If it's only 10 kilometers apart, if even that's it, I think it's impossible. I think the first thing we need is a body that can be.
Definitely, I will agree with both of contributors. Actually, the issue is that there are a number of departments in Rawalpindi which are controlling planning issues as well as technical issues. Each have its own bylaws. For example, you can see there are Rawalpindi Development Authority, Rawalpindi Municipal Corporation, which was previously DMA Rawaltown. Now they have two parts. Previously there was a district council, who was working as a district council, but some years ago it was a Rawalpindi and Port Harbour. There is housing and physical planning department, the cantonment board, two cantonment boards. Each there is very difficult to have incorporated or comprehensive planning there, concept of comprehensive planning there, because number of departments are working there, and no one is on the top, no one is controlling. Recently, only government of Punjab has taken a good decision. They have made all the housing schemes, private housing schemes, approval of private housing schemes, their control under the RD. On the other hand, we see that as far as the issue of housing is coming, the question is, if there is a shortage, then why last 15 years number of schemes were there were on ground from last 15 years, but no colonization is there. The question is that if there is a need, then why? You see, everyone was saying when the new airport will be inaugurated, there will be a boom. But all of you have seen, there was nothing. There are huge schemes by the name of Mamta City, Top City, Bhandara City, Airport Avenue. They have development, they have infrastructure. The question is why? Why there are not being houses are being built? Because our real estate is only in the hands of investors, just for making the money, not for the needs. If we really need, then we have to provide according to the needs of the real people. If one has a job in Rawalpindi and he has to come from 50 kilometers, that is not possible, sir.
Architect Ali Qazi. I think I just want to stay at the panel. I think all of us are talking about the same thing, and I think our friend the developer has very rightly said that we have to start with a robust Ministry of Urban and Regional Planning for the whole of Pakistan. Because if the land use of Pakistan is not, defined properly, that where and how we can build in the CPAC, we can build in everything, and has to be done top down, a scheme for the whole country, different regions, different climatic situations, different seismic conditions. But until it is done in a holistic way, I think I was part of the Prime Minister's task force for housing for a little time, and I think this message, which really came through, and which I think they are going to ultimately put in place sort of authority, a national housing authority, which is like a supreme body that encompasses the regional planning for the whole country, gives you the template, the footprint to each area, each region, each community, and that's how where you take it. Because if that master planning, if that wholesome planning is not there, then each of us tries to invent our own little wheel. So I think if we have to do it from the level of Pakistan and from the level of international commitments that we are going to go into and our resources. So we have to have a beautiful overseeing plan, and each plan, like you do the master planning and you give out the detail, okay, this is what your part is, and now go and further develop it. I see it like that. I think all of us are really talking about the same thing.
Sir, I will second you, but the problem is that I will give just two examples. One is the Rawalpindi master plan. Rawalpindi master plan has since been expired in 2016. We are moving without any master plan.
I'm talking about the Pakistan
Yes, yes, you are talking, but there is issue that approvals, that long procedures for approvals. Yes, there is no agenda regarding who will make the master plan for the Rawalpindi now. Yes, these are our issues, real issues. You are talking very beautifully, but that is not possible in this environment, in this culture. So we have to change. We have to change. We have to move. Secondly, I will. Second example is my metro. One segment, all of you know, one segment of the metro has been implemented. Transit-oriented development. With reference to transit-oriented development, we have to identify the patches in between on the route where we can develop multi-story buildings or some choose up so that metro could be used effectively. But unfortunately, only one segment has been implemented. Second segment there is no name of second segment.
Technology is
My only request is to get the best professionals to do the interest stakeholders are definitely there, but get the best designers, regional planners, city planners, developers to do a master planning for the whole country. Yes. And then you move on and give equally best everybody.
I agree, but when you will place the master planner, town planner or architect under a bureaucrat, then what will be happen? Who will?
Can I add to the debate? You want to say something? Go ahead. All right. Well, yeah, sure.
As a planner, I think what we are, Ghazi Sahib and everybody, I think what we need to do is this, that, where there were centralized economies, commonly known as the communist countries. They had a very centralized planning system. And the plan started from the top, the country-wise was planned, the central economies were there. They were competing resources of cities in other places, but they would decide where development would take place. In the Stalinist era, where development develop Siberia, develop this and all that. So that is what happened. But then you have the national planning decides where you're going to put your money in. Then you have a regional planning system, very strong legal system. These are legal systems. The national system, the regional system, and the city planning, and then the area development schemes. What is happening in England now? They've got rid of the national development system. They've got rid of the regional plans. They're only doing the area development plans. So each country has its own thing. Now the Stalinist, the central economy system, it doesn't work. Now what the lead of Pakistan, what everybody is saying is this. You need to distribute your resources. We have scarce resources. We don't have money. Billions, figures, and all that. Okay, that's fine. We don't have resources. So we need, with the revolution of power and all that, we need a central economy. If you want to have it that way, if you want to decide on the best of the Indus, who decides? Are the provincial governments going to decide? Do they have the resources? The Balochistan government, I don't think they have any planners of repute or anybody. They don't have the resources as such. The resources have gone somewhere here and there. So you need a centralized, if you want to do what
has to be a national vision.
You have to have a national vision. You have to develop. You have to develop those areas, but it has to come rationally. Resources have to be sent to them. Legislative framework have to be made for them. Who decides? I think once you have that in place, then you can talk about what the developer is saying. I mean, he's starting at the micro level. What I'm saying, you start at the macro level, not at the micro level. His plans are going to fail completely. Thank you.
No, but when there's, if you'll allow me to kind of add to that, when you don't have that national vision in place until that time, things have happened. If you look at Islamabad, the city that supported Islamabad the most in its history, if you will look at that, has been the city that opposed it the most was Karachi. Because Karachi did not want things to move to Islamabad as the capital, but Karachi has supported Islamabad the most historically because of the trouble that happened in Karachi. A lot of money was poured into the Islamabad economy by Karachi in a very informal way. And then again now, when we in the Master Plan Commission, the chairman, without naming it, kind of complained about ethnic sectors coming up. It's a very need-based thing, because what has happened is just where the sector which is just north of where the motorway access and GT road crosses, the sector which that would be the 15th sector, right? G14. Okay. Which is between the motorway on one side and the 15, right? That was right. Yeah, 15. Between the motorway and the N5, GT road. GT vehicle. So, yeah. So there's a complete sector, complete in all respects. This is like a freestanding, standalone sector, which came out of the need from the trouble that happened in KP. Peshawar moved out, and there's a whole sector full of people. It's complete in all respects. They go to work in the morning in Peshawar, and they come back to their families in the evening. So these things happen need-based. I mean, sometimes when the state will not do things, people will find that at the micro level solutions to their own problems. But we have to come back to the same thing. What should the national solution be, as Saad said?
Can I, sir, I don't want to fail, by the way, micro and macro level, but if I just give a title to the debate, then that's that whether we should have new cities or, what should we do about the growing cities. I agree to every comment so far from everyone, and I can't agree more with you, Qazi Sahab. We do need to have a macro, sir, a national program, a national policy. And if I compare England, because I worked in England for 14 years and I was a developer there as well. And if I quote an example just to make it easy for understanding, is having a constitution and then having the laws for every particular field. Now, we need to have a constitution for the real estate development here in Pakistan. There has to be a national policy, and then, my MSc is in policy, and I'm from Cambridge, is in the same field, by the way. We have to have a national policy for the urban development, and then regional. What happens in UK, every council, which every council which is a regional council, so let's say in London you got about 36 councils, every council has got the micro level laws, but again the national level law in the UK prevails. So they can't differ from the constitution. They have to abide by the national, and the listed buildings, for example, in UK, throughout UK, they are listed buildings. You can't change the facade of the listed building. Now, in terms of regularization, यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा बहस होती है इस्लामाबाद में. Just to quote an example of UK, which is one of the most advanced country, and by the way, you can't even change a brick. You have to get the brick approved because you can't change the character of the street. वहाँ पे भी, if a building has been habitable for 4 years, that has to be regularized, because that is what the national constitution or the national policy says, and then comes the council. Now, if I come towards the debate, the main debate, which is whether we have to have the new cities, or should we focus, or should we, look into the growing cities and their needs. I agree with both, sir. But let me just give you some stats. I'm a research student, so I work on stats. Islamabad's sectoral zone is takriban 1 lakh canal. 24 sectors were meant to be there, only 17 developed. DHA, which is New Islamabad, DHA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and DHA Valley, that is more than 1 lakh canal. And the population in DHAs is less than 7%. DHA 1 and DHA 2. DHA 2, which is 15,000 canal, has only got 35% population, whereas DHA 3, which is 50,000 canal, more than 3 times bigger, has not even started. DHA 4 has not started, DHA 5 has not started, DHA Valley, which is about 40,000 canal, is not there. So the population which is expected in this city, if we just talk about Islamabad, there's a new city which is coming up, New Islamabad, but that is going to take good 20 years. Then we talk about Gwadar. By the way, there is a lot of hype about Gwadar. Now if I talk about the official stats of Gwadar, the population of Gwadar is meant to be, according to the official stats, 554,000 in 2030. So in about 11 to 12 years, it is going to be smaller than DHA Valley, the population of whole of Gwadar. One DHA Valley, it is going to be, because in DHA Valley the population is going to be more than that. So if we talk about the new cities, or if we talk about the growth of the existing cities, we need one thing that is the most important, and that is the fix of whole of Pakistan, by the way. intelligent policy making and its effective implementation. That is the fix to all the problems in Pakistan, including real estate. And that is what we need here for Pakistan. Case study Islamabad. What I'm talking about Islamabad is that the 4 gifts to Islamabad by Docksiders, there were 4 roads which were meant to be there in the master plan of Islamabad. Kashmir Highway, Islamabad Expressway, which is called Faisal Avenue, and 2 more roads which are never built. Islamabad was planned for a population of only 2 million, or uske liye bhi they kept 4 big roads, 1200 feet wide roads. It's been 56 years. 80% of Islamabad has got no policy. If this is the state we are in, then this is alarming. We shouldn't be even talking about the city or the urban sprawl or the planning or anything else, because in 1950 and 60 people were a lot ahead of us. Those who were thinking of Islamabad once they planned in 1950s and 60s, they were better than us. We have to get better at what we are doing as well. So what we have to have is a national plan or a policy for the urban planning. And then, yes sir, I do agree with you. And that is what I made the case for, micro level along with the macro level, because we need the policies, bylaws. By law is when you say that you have to do something by law. So there is no law in the capital of Pakistan. 80% of Islamabad has got no law, jungle. So the micro level is where CDA has to approve the bylaws for the main roads and give us the policy, and macro level is where Khan Sahib has to have focus, which we call Vision 2030, have to have a national policy. So this is what we are proposing and advocating, of course.
I think before we hand the mic to Kaleem Saab for his contribution to the debate, once again I will agree with Jahangir Saab, because stats are not everything. If the world was running on stat, I think we're going to be in a really big problem. But I think so far the debate agrees that we need to have not one direction but multiple directions. There has to be a top-down approach and a bottom-up approach. And perhaps a bottom-up approach is something that we look at the user, involve developers and agencies to actually help build with that. And then the top-down approach has to be of regulation. Kaleem Saab, if you would like to add something.
Yeah, okay. I think what is happening is the debate, there are 2 different issues. One, we are talking about real estate development. Now that's entirely, to me, it's an entirely different subject. We should be talking about national planning. You know, it's a question of politics, it's a question of governance. And after the 18th Amendment, these subjects are provincial subjects. So which means that yes, Islamabad is the latest, I would say, in Pakistan history, a new city. It's got a master plan. But then again, what happened to the master plan over the years? I'm from Pindi. I've seen Islamabad developing in my childhood days. I've seen Murray Road vanishing into the Rawal Dam and so on. So what's happened to Islamabad is that it did take the first sectors, I think up to the 9th, sector 9, which is the park. After that, the political governments or whichever governments came in, actually they made fortunes on this little beautiful city of Islamabad. And just not Islamabad, the rest of the areas. There is no master plan as such for Karachi at the moment. There is no master plan for Lahore. And forget about the rest of the cities, which are just left to everyone's, anyone can take anything from there. It's just like a, loot lo jitna lootna hai. And unfortunately, वो जो लूटने वाला मसला है, वो अभी भी हो रहा है. Look at Malir, look at Bahria, look at DHA, gated communities. No, that is not doing anything to the service. It's not actually providing anything, except for some elite, because there is no policy. There is no policy whatsoever. There is no political will or vision, I would say, that we are today trying to see that one highway can bring in so many billions of rupees. No. I can give you examples. Go to Lahore DHA. That is the Broadway Avenue. It's been there for so many years. There is no economic activity. There is only some people who had the money, investors, who bought those commercial plots, 30 by 30, 900 square feet, is selling for 12.5 crore rupees. Just imagine, 30 by 30. Now, if we are going to add that this is the real estate or an example from where you start, there isn't any taker. So whatever calculations that you do, that real estate in Pakistan is so many billions or trillions, makes no sense whatsoever, because there is hardly any economic activity to sustain it. Look at Dubai. The prices are falling because there is no intake. No one is there to take anything from there because they've built it, they've gone. So